All right, we are live on Facebook. Warm greetings to you, Doctor. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to speak at Purpose, Profit, and Power Leadership webinar. This is May edition, and we've been having this webinar consistently since January. We are honored to have you as our guest.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I'm going to introduce you briefly to the house.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Really asked after her teaching. It's such an honor to have her on this platform, and we are excited to have her on this platform. Doctor, we really celebrate you. We've seen the works you're doing in USA, your tours around the world, the Leadership Academy, the Girl Boss Academy, your life coaching and works. It's so inspiring how you manage to balance yourself as a physician and as a leadership coach. It's really worth emulating. We are excited to have you speak on this business and leadership webinar, and we believe that you'll be sharing rich content with us. Thank you so much. Please, you can have the ground to teach.
Thank you so much, Esther, for the invitation. I am honored to be here on this platform for the May edition. And I am Dr. Marcea Whitaker, and I am a physician by training. I'm also a life and business coach. I'm also an author and a speaker and also a radio personality. And I reside in the United States. I am in Maryland, which is very close to Washington, D.C. And I applaud you for continuing to build the platform and build the entrepreneurs who are in this space. You know, if anyone is under the sound of my voice, we know that entrepreneurship is not easy. Okay, it is not easy, although it is doable. And so, what I want to do today, I want to talk about something that helps make it doable. And we're talking about the power of collaboration. Okay, the power of collaboration. And we're going to be fostering cross functional partnerships for business growth. And so, as we dive into this powerhouse session, this topic, I wanted to make sure that you get a notebook, that you get some paper, that you're taking some notes, because the best way when we get information is that we go ahead and apply it right away. And so I want to give some actionable tips and help walk you through some of the steps in order to get to that place where you can increase your business growth. So the first thing I'm going to do right off the bat is we're going to talk about some of the words that are in this title. Okay. If you could think about, what is your definition of collaboration? Okay. I want you to use that notebook. I want you to say, what, if I had to come up with a definition, what would that be? Collaboration. And when I looked up the definition, it says the action of working with someone to produce or create something. Okay. And it also means to co-labor. All right. And so when you think about the importance of co-laboring, it means one is that there is work to be done. Okay. There's stuff to do. There's something that needs to get done in this space. The second thing is that it implies that there is more work than just one person. Okay. And then the other thing that it implies is that there's a place and there's a space for others in this zone, in this environment, in your business. Okay. So first we have the definition of collaboration. Okay. It means to co-labor, work together. But then the next thing, let's go one step further and let's define business collaboration. Okay, because that's a little bit different than just co-laboring. And so the definition that I'm going to use today, it is the practice of working together with internal and external connections to pool resources. Okay, somebody say resources, okay? To pool resources to create value, to solve problems, and to achieve shared goals and objectives. Now, to me, that sounds like cross-functional work. All right. And those collaborations can look different ways. Okay. It can look like a partnership. I partner with you. You partner with your neighbor. Our neighborhoods partner together. It can also look like a joint venture where the two of us are coming together and we are going in the same direction. It can also be a strategic alliance or a consortia. Okay, so that's the business collaboration. And so I want to go to the next step, which is the actual work. Okay, the work is what it is that you do and what you stand for. And those two things are contained in what we call the mission statement. And so I want to ask you, I want you to, I'm not sure if you're able to put it, I think you are on the Facebook. I want you to put it in the chat. I want you to add in, what is your mission statement? Okay, what is it that you do and what is it that you stand for? Okay, so I'm gonna pause for a second to have you put something in the chat. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to give you my mission statement as an example. Okay, so as I mentioned that I am a life and business coach, and what it is that I do is that I help entrepreneurs who are drowning in the business building process. And I help them to navigate the choppy waters of life and business so that they can harness their power, discover their authentic platform, and charter a voyage to business success. Okay, so what I have done, I've given you what it is that I do and what it is that I stand for. Okay, how do I help others? And those two things are the definition of the work that I do. And so I want you to put that in the chat. And if you're listening to this on replay, go ahead and put that in the chat. Let's walk this thing out. So my next question to you is, I want to know if you are a solopreneur. Okay. If you're the main owner, you don't have any partners. And I want you to put solo in the chat. Okay. If you are a solo entrepreneur. And then the other thing I want to know is I want to know how many years you've been in business. Okay. But this is a very important point, as you will see in a second. Okay. Whether or not you're a solopreneur, and then how many years you have been in a business. And so when we think about the business space, small businesses are critical. They are the driving force for economic growth and in creating jobs. However, the reality is that entrepreneurship, as I mentioned earlier, can be difficult. It can be hard. Now, I have some data based on the US population and the business of labor statistics, and I'm sure it's probably similar in other countries as well. But with entrepreneurship, there are significant failure rates in business. So say you jump out and you start your business. In the first year of business, there's a 21% failure rate. By year 3, it's a 40% failure rate. Now we move down to 5 years in, there's a 50% failure rate. Go to 10 years out, we're up to 66% failure rate. If we keep going 15 years in business, we're up to 73% failure rate. And then 20 years out, we're up to 80% failure rate. And I'm just going to let that sink in for a second. Okay? So the longer you're in business, the greater chance that you are going to fail. Okay? And the question is why? Okay, let's talk about why. Why do we think that is the case? All right. So the thing that comes up right away is you're just not making enough money. You're not making the revenue. You're not profitable. And this is the difference between what we call a business versus what we call a hobby. Okay. If you're in business, there is some we get to tolerate. There is some tolerance for losses. Okay. I think the number is about 3 years, right? You have about 3 years to turn a profit before you may think, this is not a hobby. I mean, this is not a business. This is a hobby. And it could be related to your product. It could be related to your marketing. It could be related to the market. It could be related to the cost structure of your business. It can be the idea itself, and it can even be the business plan or what lack thereof. Okay, so the first thing is usually the money. Okay, just not having enough, not getting the sales in. Okay, the second thing also is financial related, is that you don't have the money to invest. In business, in order to go to the next level, in order to kind of stretch out and to get into the market, there is going to be an investment. And many of us do not have the resources, we do not have the investment, we do not have the investors in order to do that. It takes money to make money, and we don't have the funding. We don't have business credit, and we may not have access to the grants and other monetary resources that are needed to expand. Okay? So the third reason why there's a high failure rate is that there are going to be changes in your industry. Okay? maybe there's folks want something different, or maybe what you were doing didn't work, or maybe something new got instituted and now you're having to compete. Maybe there was a major thing that happened in the world that now changes the industry. The other thing on even unrest in the world. Okay. The next thing is technology challenges. And I know right now there may be, I think there's a blackout, a power failure in Nigeria. Okay. That's affecting what's happening now. That's going to determine what happens in your business. When technology goes down, when there is a blackout, when Facebook goes down, that changes how you're going to move forward and how profitable you are. Something that happened just recently, COVID. COVID it was a major thing for those businesses that did not have a technology plan. Those that were brick and mortar, those that did not use technology, they suffered during COVID. Okay. Some businesses went belly up. I know in the US, lots of the food places, the restaurants, the entertainment space, there were multiple areas of business that they died through COVID. Okay. While others grew. Okay. Some of the places that grew were delivery type services. Amazon. We have lots of food delivery places, grocery shopping. Those things actually expanded during COVID. Okay. Coaching itself continued to grow, especially with the mental health piece. Okay. Clearly the vaccine companies, did well throughout the world, as well as information technology. If you were in that IT space and you were able to pivot and shift, you did well during that season. Okay. But what are some of the other reasons why businesses may fail? Okay. Another thing is fatigue. For those, if you are a business owner, and raise your hand if sometimes you get tired. Okay. You're up early, you're up late, especially if you're solopreneur, you are the face and you are the worker bees in your business. And after a certain amount of time, sometimes that gets difficult. And we look at what we sacrifice, especially if you have children and you have to be out of the house or you're spending lots of energy. If that is you, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Okay. The next thing is knowledge gap. Maybe you don't know all of the ins and the outs. You could come up to a question or situation and you just don't know how to get through it. And so this is where mindset comes in, as far as, because I am a life coach. When we believe that we have the answer, we are now able to move forward regardless of whether we know the answer or not. But a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we get stuck thinking that there is a right answer, and there's probably multiple answers. But it's about you making a decision that is going to be the right one for you. Okay. The next one is support. Okay. As solopreneurs, we generally don't have that support on a day-to-day basis. And if there's sometimes when we're feeling low, if something went wrong, if you're trying to make that big decision, not having that support system, whether that's a coach, whether that's a group, whether, for example, this one, as I said, I applaud Esther for all that she is doing and building this platform. But this is a great space to have some support so that you can have some insight. You can have some support. You can have somebody say, you know what, I had this go wrong just like this, and this is how to fix it, or here are some options for you to go through. Okay. The next one is competition. We think of competition as something that is bad, okay, or something that is going to take away from you. And when we're in that entrepreneurship space, when we're competing against something or someone else, sometimes the competition is the best of us. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to pivot that in a second. Okay. Some of the other reasons why companies fail, okay, small businesses fail, is that there's a lack of strategic planning and business development. Okay. It's great to have an idea, but we have to have a long-term plan. We have to have some metrics so that we know that we're going in the right direction. The other is going to be unknowns. Okay, the economy, natural disasters, whether that's a tsunami or an earthquake or some of those things that completely just changes the whole landscape of the world. Another reason is lack of ideas. Sometimes we get to the end of what we can do ourselves, and we need someone to speak life, or to say, what about this? What about that? And that's difficult when you are a solopreneur. Okay. And another reason is that for for entrepreneurs, there's a reason why we're doing what we're doing. And when that why isn't deep enough, when we're not as committed to that why, if that thing doesn't make us continue to get up and keep moving towards our goal, at some point that business idea is going to fizzle out. Okay. And so we have to make sure that the why that we have is going to sustain us along the journey. But the biggest news flash, I went through all of the reasons why businesses fail, but the news flash is that each one of those areas that are listed can be addressed with, guess what? Partnerships, okay? Collaborations, places where we can help each other. And so partnerships can do multiple things. One, it can expand your network, okay? So when you come alongside of someone else, you now have access to all of their network, all of their interactions. And so you've just expanded your network, just like COVID. If you remember, when one person gets infected with COVID, at one time that number equated to 5 people who were infected. And then those 5 people each now could infect another 5 people. Okay. Same way. When you partner, you now have access to other people's networks. Okay. The second thing is that you're now able to share resources. Similar to, say, you have a business and you need a building. Okay. And you have another business who needs a building. You now come together and buy one building to house both businesses. And now you've just divided your resources. You've divided the money that you've had to expend and doubled the resource capital. Okay. Then the third thing that a partnership or collaboration can do is that it fosters innovation. It fosters new ideas. There's when you start talking shop and you're in a group and the ideas start to flow and you're like, what about this? You're like, no, that's not going to work because of XYZ. Okay, but what about this? I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? That's good. And we can pull in this person. We can pull in that person. And now, you know what? That person over there has thus and so. So by the time you can have a 1-hour conversation. I've had 2 of those kind of conversations just recently, where we were able to kind of develop an entire program in an hour because we were pulling resources together. And now we were able to foster innovation and move to the next level. Okay. The next thing that it can do is that it can diversify your experience, okay, and your expertise. Now you have someone who's an expert in IT, and now you have someone who's an experience in the financial world. Now you have someone who has experience in business development. Now you have experience in someone who does all these other things. Now when you come together, now you are a powerhouse because you have brought all of the different niches into one space, and now you're able to hit the ground running. Okay. The next thing that it can do is that it can give mutual support. that is when if someone falls or someone has an issue, now you have some folks that you can pull from and say, hey, you know what, I may be short in this area. Can I borrow something? You know, I may have a team member who I use to do XYZ. You're like, hey, you know what? I don't have that type of person. Can I outsource your person? Like, sure, you can. You know, so now I've just tapped into some additional support. Okay. It also enhances your credibility. When you partner with other folks in the industry, you are now building the foundation and building the support. One thing that happens frequently in the United States is that there's always mergers, you know, whether it's banks, whether it is law offices, whether it is other companies. When there's a merger, it automatically builds credibility. Okay. And through that, you can also now tap into new markets. If someone knows how to, maybe you're in IT and now you want to get into the health field, or now you want to go overseas. Now you have a bigger armamentarium, and now you're able to expand your reach. The same way we expanded our network, now we can take our business to a different level. But then your question may be, Dr. Marcea, you've walked through collaborations, you've walked through business partnerships, you've walked through what the benefits are, but how do we get there? If you want to know how you get there, put how in the chat. How do you get there? And I'm so glad you asked, because I'm going to share with you how you get to business partnerships. Okay. And it starts with a very key place. This is the take home right here. Okay. It starts with having a vision. Okay. I want you to put vision in the chat. Okay. It starts with having a vision. Okay. And if you have a vision for your business, I want you to put me. And this one step beyond that is who has a vision statement that is written? Okay. Not just in the head, not just a picture of, you know, I want my business to grow. I want my business to have these many employees, this amount of money, go this, whatever. But it needs to be written down, because once it's in writing, it now takes on a life of its own. Okay. By definition, what a vision is, it outlines the long-term goals and aspirations for your business. And it helps to find those folks who can help you. Okay, I'm going to say that again. A vision outlines the long-term goals and aspirations for your business. And it helps to find those who can help you. But within that, you first have to define where you need help. Okay. Just going out and picking people to partner with is not going to do you a lot of good. Okay. But it has to be built on the vision for your business, because we have a goal, right? We have a goal of where we're trying to go. And the vision is what outlines and puts the steps in place for how we're going to get there. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk through the 5 steps to successful collaboration using your written vision. And but I do want to say this quickly. By definition, a vision is something where it takes more than you. By definition, a vision involves other people. Okay. By definition, a vision is going to require people who, guess what? You don't know. Okay. A vision isn't going to be just you and your family. The vision has to involve people who you do not know. Okay. If you were able to pull it off by yourself, it wouldn't be a vision. Okay. It would just be a plan for you to execute. But the vision, by definition, has different pieces, kind of like a puzzle. And if you put together, when you start putting together the puzzle is multiple pieces. But as you start building the puzzle, you're going to need different edges, different corners, different folks that come alongside to make the picture work. Okay, so here are the 5 steps to successful collaboration. And after we do this, we're going to, I think, open it up for discussion. But here are the 5 steps. The first is, and this is after you have your vision, okay? Having the vision is numero uno, number 1, okay? But you have to understand the value of successful collaboration, okay? It's the missing piece in getting to your goal. You have to understand, I need people to help. I need more team, not so much team members, but I need people working alongside of me who I trust, who are feeding into my business as well as me feeding into them. Okay. So the second thing is that you have to find leaders with similar challenges. Okay. Those are going to be your peers. That may even be your competitors. That could be a mastermind. That could be a group such as where we are today. Those individuals with similar challenges, you're going to be able to now come together to solve that challenge. All right. The third step is to foster a culture of collaboration. That is when you say, you know what? We're here. I'm actually in a group. It's called Black Door Society here in the United States, where it's built on the fundamental premise that we are building and opening doors for other people. Okay. We are coming alongside, we're locking arms and saying, you know what? We can do this. I'm going to open the door for you. And, later down the road, you're going to open the door for me. And it is the spirit of collaboration. And there's a saying that says collaboration over competition. This isn't about us. We may be in the same space in the entrepreneurship journey, but we're going to work together because when I win, you win, right? We all win when one person wins. The next step number 4, is that you break down industry barriers. When we collaborate and there's that process, there's that rule, there's that problem that we're all battling up against. When we unify and attack it together, then we can pull down that barrier and we can all get over to the other side of the river, if you will. Okay. And then the last step is to invest in your relationships. It's okay to give something away to others. It's okay to do a joint venture where it may not be 50-50 split. Okay. It's okay. I just had a conversation the other day with someone and we were working on a potential program. And there has been so much, you know what? No, I'm not good. I don't want to take anything from you. I just want to come and join and come alongside of you and to help you do what you do. I don't want anything from you. I just want to learn from you. I just want to show my support for you. Those kind of interactions, those kind of statements, it goes a long way in building relationship because now we may be in the same space, but I'm here to support you. I'm here to love on you. I'm here to make sure that you win because when you win, I also win. Okay, so those are the 5 steps. I'm going to turn it back over to Esther and we're going to open up for questions. I think I don't know if you have any questions for me and those that are in the chat. It has been a pleasure. And as she's coming back on, I just want to say again, I am Dr. Marcea, and I am a life and a business coach here in the United States, in Maryland. And I work, I'm the founder of Girl Boss Life Academy, as well as Life Coaching for Business Builders, where I help entrepreneurs who are drowning in the business building process, and I help them to harness their power. I help them to tap into their authentic platform and help them to create a path towards business success. Thank you. And I know that there's some technical difficulties in Nigeria right now, and so there she is.
All right, thank you, Ma. We're still together. I don't want to come on stage, so you can finish up with your session.
Yes. So thank you so much for having me. And this has been a pleasure. I love the collaboration that we have with Nigeria and those that are listening. And I know we are also live on Facebook, and so it's going to go into different areas of the world. I want to encourage each and every one of you to find someone to collaborate with. Usually, it isn't someone who is like out there that you have no idea who they are. Generally, it's someone who is in your space, that someone who is maybe in a group that you belong to. You never know what that person needs and what you need from them. So just have conversation. Just be open to collaborating, to partnering, and only greatness can come from partnerships and collaborations. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I have a question. Please, if you have a question, kindly put your question in the comment section concerning partnership and collaboration. All right, my question is, how do you draw the line? How do you draw the line in a situation where you have a business partner who is not who is not interested in the business as much as you are? How do you react to such person? How do you make them interested in the venture? The person has the money, but you have the idea, so they are not interested in it because it's not their idea, and you need them to come in because you need their resources to make the vision fly. So how do you get them involved in that particular business venture? And secondly, um as a business startup, how do we get investors to invest in our businesses? How do we attract partners from different countries?
Yeah, those are great questions. The first question I have, I need a clarification. The partner that you're saying you're trying to get involved and interested, is this someone who you already have a connection with? You're already contracted to be in the group with them. Is that correct?
Okay, these are just business partners. One has the idea, but the business was registered in their name as partners. But the one that has the resources is not as interested as the visionaire. Should I call it? We could call it a visionaire. So, how do we make them interested in that vision? How do we sell the vision to a potential partner? How do we sell the vision to them?
To sell them the vision, yeah. So you said the visionary has the idea, but the person with the resources is different. How do you get the visionary to come along? But if it was their idea, you would think that they just needed the resources. Can you ask the question again?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Right. So you're saying, I want to make sure I'm clear on the question. You're saying the visionary has the idea, but the person with the resources, it is, you're trying to get the visionary
Is
on
not
board.
as is not as interested as the visionaire. but you
Oh, the
need this
resources. Gotcha.
person to come in because of the resources. So
Gotcha.
how do you sell the vision to them to make them as interested as you are?
Yeah. Got you. Thank you for the
That's
clarification.
for
So
startup.
yeah. So that's the thing. So the first is that, and for the vision, for the folks to come alongside of you, the vision does have to be marketable. It has to be exciting. You have to be excited about it. And you're talking about it with all of the different people. You've got people on board. You for that particular end person, they have to see that others are also interested and that this is going to be a benefit to them.
All right, all right. You have to make them see what they'll benefit from it, like what is in it for them.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And your excitement has to be just overwhelming. I mean, there are some things that I'm doing now that the excitement is there. If I talk about, let's even Girl Boss Life Academy, right? I get people who comment to me and say, you know what, I'm being a girl boss. This happened just this morning. I was on a call and we weren't talking anything about my business. And the thought was, you know what, they were being a girl boss. And it was because when I share my business and the idea, there's so much excitement, there's so much momentum, there's so much energy in it that people are like, you know what, I want to be a girl boss too. Okay. And so that's the type of excitement that you need to have, that you need to muster up, that you need to put into everything that you do
Yeah,
so that people want to be involved.
part of it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
So
So
as visionaries, we should be excited about our vision when sharing it, so they would run with it actually.
yeah. Yeah. You want people knocking down your door saying, hey, I want to get in here. If you look at the people who have platforms that you want to be a part of, and then what they do is they do a launch and they're like, you know what, we only have 100 spots, you know, and we're going to open up the door and the first 100 people, and people will now, you know, they're kicking and screaming trying to get inside the door because what they know something on the inside has so much value that they don't want to miss out. And that's the same energy that you and other entrepreneurs need to have when you're talking about your platform.
Thank you so much. All right, the second question. As a business startup, we believe so many people that are going to be seeing this video, that are going to be seeing the replay, they are youths. They are people within the ages of 20 to 30, and they are entrepreneurs too. So as a business, as a visionary, as a startup, how do you get investors to invest in your business?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that is a challenge. And I just went through a little bit of this. I had an event, and I was looking for sponsors for my event. And when we think about sponsors, we think about targeting, you know, the people who are going to give $1 million, you know, people who are going to give $100,000, you know, people over here who you don't know who's going to give us this or whatever, right? When you get started, there's two things. One is going to be your network. Okay, your network, your net worth is in your network. Okay, so there's going to be somebody in your space who may contribute to your business. Okay, but you won't know until you start talking about your vision. Okay, and getting to bigger rooms and finding a mentor and going into different groups. Okay, the second thing is your first investor is going to be someone you already know, somebody who you already have a relationship with, someone who already kind of knows who you are. Okay. And the missing piece is that we are sometimes afraid to just ask. Okay. And you just can't ask saying, hey, can you invest in my company or sponsor me? You have to give folks the same way the written vision. You have to have a written proposal. Okay. When you go to that person to ask, you are going to have your mission statement written out. You're going to have to give them a copy of your vision. You're going to give them your business proposal. You're going to have to give them how much money you think you need and what you're going to spend it on. You're going to give them your business plan, right? You're going to have to provide them something other than become my investor. And once they see that you have spent some time and some energy and your thought process makes sense, and you are now pitching your idea based on how they're going to benefit also. Okay, so we're back to that same thing. You have to speak about the vision, but you also have to tell them what is in it for them.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. In other words, you're saying if we want people to collaborate with us, if we want people to invest in our businesses, we have to drive our vision, we have to share our vision, even with the people in our inner circle, because those people around us are our first investors. Thank you so much. Okay, I have this last question.
Sure.
Um, Being a physician and a girl boss coach, how have you been able to leverage on your relationships for business growth?
You said how I've been able to do what?
How can you tell us how you have been able to leverage on your relationship for business growth?
Yeah, how to leverage it for business growth. Yeah. The thing, I think the number one thing is that I have been committed to my business, and I get so much joy out of it, and I share the passion. And so when people see what I've been able to accomplish, again, they want to come alongside. And so now when I go and I have a need, once I share it, or sometimes people come to me, they're like, "Hey, how can I help you? How can I collaborate with you?" And I'm like, "Huh, okay, well, let me see. I mean, let me get an understanding as to what it is that you do, and then let's just have a conversation." There was a business owner who recently we had a chance to kind of just hang out. And as we were just kind of talking about our businesses, we saw where there was connection. So I was being me, she was being her. And as we started talking more, we were like, you know what? There's synergy here. So let's talk again. And so it's about just being real, being authentic, and just waiting until the right time to have that conversation and kind of just build. It's kind of like building a house. You just don't go in and build a collaboration from the ground up and you're like done. No, you have to lay the foundation first. Then you build the frame. Okay, then you're going to put up some walls, and then you're going to eventually put the roof on. So it's a slow process. We think we're going to go out there and get the money tomorrow. No, it's you're building relationships. That's when the fifth step was about supporting the relationship, right? Fostering the relationship, and those are the things that are going to help to build this house of investment.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for this educating session. It's so transforming. Thank you so much for speaking on the power of collaboration. I believe the people that are going to watch this replay would have so many things to learn from it. You've not only spoken, you've shared your experience, we've seen you live this lifestyle. I see what you're doing online. I see the way you collaborate with people from the leadership space in imparting lives and all. We really want to let you know that we appreciate what you are doing. We appreciate what you're doing and we celebrate your works. Most importantly, we are grateful that you are here. We are grateful that you honored our invitation to speak in this webinar. We'll be sharing this video on different channels, on YouTube group, on YouTube platform channels. We're also going to share it on Telegram groups and WhatsApp, so people are going to be watching the replay. We want to let you know that your efforts tonight is not wasted. because lives would be impacted through it.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Doctor. We are grateful. Do you
Thank
have
you.
like a final word for the audience?
I do. And so we've been talking about the power of collaboration. I would love to hear from your audience. I can be found. My website is www.drmarcea.com. That's DRMARCEA. I look forward to additional collaborations with you, Esther, and in your group. I love the international space is so needed, and I would love to have you as well on my radio show that airs here in the United States as well.
Yeah, I'll be glad to work with you. I'll be glad to collaborate with you in future meetings. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Take care.
Yeah, bye.